Okay, back to Ryu's frame data chart now. Okay, active. Active tells us how many frames the attack lasts for on the screen. This is useful for melee attacks. Moves with a lot of active frames are good to use when your opponent is getting up from a knockdown because the move will still be present and force them to either block or do a reversal. Okay, let's look for an example for an attack with a lot of active frames. Okay, found one right here, close standing hard kick. Now it says the attack is active for 8 frames. Let's go back to the videos again and we'll check this out. Okay, so now we're looking at a video of Ryu doing his close standing hard kick. Now we're on the first frame of Ryu attacking. And the frame data chart says that this is going to be active for 8 frames total. So Ryu will be attacking for 8 frames. Okay, so let's count it out. Right now we're looking at the first frame. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now it's been active for 8 frames total so far. So on the next frame, it should be finished. And there you go, on the 9th frame, the red hitbox disappears. So that move is active for a very long time. Most normal attacks are only active for about 3 or 4 frames. Now let's show an example on how this can be useful. Okay, now I'm going to make Ken mash light punch constantly, so that when I knock him down and he gets up, it'll be the first attack he tries. Now with Ryu, I'll trip Ken, and I'll be doing his close standing hard kick just before he gets up. Because I know this attack is active for 8 frames, it will still hit him as he gets up. Now keep in mind, I'm going to do this attack much sooner, just before Ken gets up. I'm not going to do it the exact same time he gets up, because I know it's active for 8 frames, which is a very long time. Because of this, when Ken attempts to attack, I'll already have an active attack going on, so no matter what, he can't beat it, no matter how fast his move is. Now notice there wasn't a counter hit. The reason there wasn't a counter hit is because Ken wasn't able to even start his attack. No matter what, my attack is going to be faster than his because it's already active. Okay, so I'm going to use the same example again, but this time I'm going to get Ken to mash throw. So when he gets up, the first thing he'll attempt is try to throw me. As you can see, Ken will get beat. So melee attacks are very useful to keep pressure on people. This forces your opponent to either block when he gets up, or do a reversal, which is risky if you're baiting it. Okay, on to recovery now. This is very self-explanatory. This is how many frames it takes for the move to end from start to finish. There's no point of me giving an example on this one. Okay, now we're moving on to the 2 most important things for frame data. Okay, frame advantage on block. This explains how many frames it takes before you can do anything, including blocking, after the opponent has blocked your attack. The number will either be a positive, which means that you recover before your opponent does, or a negative, which means that your opponent recovers before you do, and you are stuck for that many frames. And sometimes this is 0, which means that both you and your opponent recover at the exact same time. It also means that the move is safe. It means that you're both neutral. Now a lot of the attacks on block are either 0 or negative, because if the opponent is blocking your attack, he shouldn't be at a disadvantage for it. I'll give an example of how to find a counter for a move on block. Now the frame data chart says that Ryu's hard kick version of his hurricane kick is -2 on block. Chun-li has a crouching light punch that has a startup of 3 frames. Which means that Chun-li cannot hit Ryu with it after she blocks his hard kick version of his hurricane kick. As you can see, I was mashing crouching light punch and Ryu was able to block it because, once again, her startup on her crouching light punch is 3 frames and Ryu is only -2. So this means that Ryu's hard kick version of his hurricane kick is a really hard move to punish after blocking it. Now from the naked eye, we would assume that Ryu is safe after this. However, the frame data says that he is -2. So that means if we can find an attack that starts up in 2 frames or faster, we can punish Ryu. Looking at the frame data chart, Chun-li has a move that starts up in 2 frames, which is her super. Now make sure that it says reversal, because reversal means that you did the move on the first possible frame that you recovered. This is one of the most important parts of frame data. It tells us which moves can be punished and which moves can be blocked. Just by using frame data, I've taken a move that a lot of people think you cannot punish, and I've just looked up the numbers and just found out, hey, Chun-Li Super works on this, tested it out and it works. Frame data is just another tool that helps people improve. It's not necessary, but it helps us find out things that we wouldn't normally be able to find out just by seeing it. Alright, now the final one, frame advantage on hit. This explains how many frames it takes before you can do anything, including blocking, after your opponent has been hit by your attack. Hit this time, not block. This is the main way on how people discover combos. This is how you find the difficulty of most combos. This shows me how I know if a combo is 1 frame or a 2 frame link, for example. I look at this chart and that's what tells me it. Alright, so let's create a quick 2-hit combo with Ryu. On the frame data chart, his crouching light punch says it is +5 on hit. This means that if I do any move that has a startup of 5 frames or less, can combo after this crouching light punch. It is because the opponent is stunned for 5 frames. 5 frames in which that he cannot do anything, including blocking. Now looking at the chart, Ryu has a crouching medium punch that has a startup of 4 frames. So if my crouching light punch is +5 on hit, so it stuns him for 5 frames, and I do my crouching medium punch, which starts up in 4 frames, there's a 2-frame window. So this will be a 2-frame link combo. Now let's try Ryu's crouching hard kick. This has a startup of 5 frames. And remember, Ryu's crouching light punch has a +5 on hit. So if the opponent is stunned for 5 frames, and my crouching hard kick starts up in 5 frames, that means there's only a 1-frame window between the two, which means that this is a 1-frame link. Now remember, there is no combo harder than a 1-frame link. That is as tight as the game engine allows it. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's use Ryu's close medium punch now. Ryu's close medium punch gives him +3 on hit. So if we try to combo a crouching medium kick afterwards, it cannot work because the opponent will recover faster. Ryu's crouching medium kick starts up on the 5th frame, but the opponent is only stunned for 3 frames from the close standing medium punch. So no matter how fast or how good your timing is, it just won't work. So this is how you know what combos do work and what combos don't work. So looking at the frame data chart, you can already know before even testing it. And also find the difficulty of it, whether it's a 2-frame, 3-frame, or 1-frame link. This concludes the end of chapter 11 and the final chapter of the VesperArcade tutorial. I hope you guys understand how to use frame data now, and I hope you guys understand how the hitboxes work. So now you can create combos for yourselves. Keep in mind that this is only the final chapter of this tutorial series. I'll be doing more series in the future when Arcade Edition of Super Street Fighter 4 comes out. This has been a 1-year project since day 1, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported me and watched these videos, and all the subscribers. Peace.